The subject matter and language in this episode of the Perfect 10 podcast may not be suitable for younger viewers. As parents, Julie and I have made the decision to be open and forthcoming with Kit about sex and sexual relationships and the responsibilities that come with those. Depending on the comfort level you have with your own children regarding this topic, you may choose to just skip this episode.
You are listening to the Perfect 10.
Hey, Kit, who won the Super Bowl?
The Eagles. I was kind of rooting for both.
I know you were.
Give me an R! O! Give me an O! Give me a C! Give me a K! Give me a Y! What's it spell? I can't hear you! One more time!
This month, we watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Janet!
Janet! Rocky! I didn't make it for you!
I've seen it.
They didn't like me! They never liked me! Say, one of you guys know how to Madison?
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show is a 1975 independent musical comedy horror film produced by Lou Adler and Michael White. The screenplay was written by Jim Sharman and Richard O'Brien, based on O'Brien's 1973 musical stage production, The Rocky Horror Show.
Brad and Janet, a newly engaged couple whose car breaks down in the rain, go to a nearby castle for help. The castle is occupied by strangers in elaborate costumes holding a party. There, they meet the head of the house, Dr. Frankenfurter, an apparently mad scientist who creates a living muscle man named Rocky.
The production is a tribute to the science fiction and horror B-movies of the 1930s through the early 1960s. The film stars Tim Curry, Susan Sarandon, and Barry Bostwick. The film is narrated by Charles Gray, with cast members from the original Royal Court Theatre, Roxy Theatre, and Belasco Theatre productions, including Nell Campbell and Patricia Quinn. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox and released in the UK in August of 1975 and in the US in September of 1975. Its initial reception was extremely negative, but it soon became a hit as a midnight movie when audiences began participating with the film at the Waverly Theater in New York City on April 1st, 1976. The film is still in limited release in 2025, some 49 years after its premiere. It is the longest running theatrical release in film history.
Rocky!
Kit, let's talk about Rocky Horror.
Okay.
Here we go.
I heard that you placed a bet on what my favorite character is.
Oh, Mommy and I... Yeah, give me one quick second. Hold on. Okay, I put a sound effect in so that I could converse with Mommy. Who is your favorite character?
Okay. I have two favorite characters.
Okay.
But one more than the other.
Okay.
My number
Two.
2
Yeah.
favorite character is Dr. Frankenfurter.
Oh, awesome.
I loved his character.
He's awesome.
Their character.
Yeah, their character. Tim Curry refers to him as him, and he also refers to Frankenfurter as pansexual. So
Okay.
we can say he and him for
right.
Frankenfurter.
My number 1 favorite
Okay.
is Columbia.
That's what I said. Mommy thought maybe Magenta, but she also was pretty sure it'd be Columbia.
Yeah, Magenta's just... I feel like she kind of just immediately became the main character at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could dissect the film too, but there's a lot with Magenta that always kind of confused me. You said it at one point when we were watching it, that Riff Raff and Magenta are brother and sister, yet they're also kind of romantically. It's very weird.
Yeah, I also said once Rocky was made, I guess,
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenfurter decided to have everyone go to bed.
Yes.
Then he wakes everyone up for dinner.
Yeah, that was weird. They must eat in the middle of the night.
Master, dinner is prepared.
I don't know what that was about, because they have their big party, The party is underway, and it's nighttime when Brad and Janet arrive. The Transylvanians show up on their motorcycles. They're called the Transylvanians, or the Phantoms, they call them. In theater, they're called Phantoms. In the movie, they're the Transylvanians. The actors that were playing them were the same people on the motorcycles. And Richard O'Brien, who was also a producer, but he wrote the film, he played Riff Raff, did not understand why Jim Sherman had them be the same people, because they're wearing helmets you would never have known, but they had to drive in on the motorcycle, so they had to get people who drove a motorcycle. It's a weird way to make a movie. Do you want to talk about the different characters? I know this is one of your favorite things to do.
Yes. So, number 1 on the list is pretty normal, Dr. Frankenfurter.
Yeah, Tim Curry. What do you know Tim Curry from?
He is in number 1, Annie. He plays the character Rooster. And,
that wasn't the first thing you said when you saw him on camera, though.
And number 2.
Speaking of 2.
He plays the kind of villain.
Yeah.
In Home Alone 2.
Yeah, he's the manager of the hotel. I don't know why he becomes the villain. I mean, he's just running a business, but whatever.
You gotta help me. There's 2 guys after me.
What's the matter? Store wouldn't take your stolen credit card.
But you're right. I mean, he is kind of the villain. You will also see him as Mr. Body someday in Clue, and I think you will love that. It's so good. This was Tim Curry's first theatrical film. He had done a lot of theater, he had done some TV, but he had not done a theatrical film. So in 1975, this was the first film role for him.
Okay, next on the list is Magenta.
Okay, Patricia Quinn.
You're lucky. He's lucky. I'm lucky. We're all lucky.
So Patricia Quinn was part of the original theatrical or theater production Rocky Horror. In the production, she also plays the usherette. So when you see it in a theater, Magenta is also the usherette. The usherette comes out and sings science fiction double feature at the beginning of the show. In the movie, that's Richard O'Brien singing, but they are Patricia Quinn's lips that are lip syncing. She was very bummed not to sing that song in the movie because she really liked it. What I will tell you about Patricia Quinn that I thought was really awesome, she is actually a lady in the sense that in England she married a sir. So Richard Stevens was Sir Richard Stevens. So Quinn automatically becomes Lady Stevens. And she is actually the stepmother to his 2 sons that he had with Maggie Smith. Do you know who Maggie Smith is?
Yes, she's the one in Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, she's Professor McGonagall.
Yeah.
Why is it when something happens, it is always you 3?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Next up, pretty normal.
Yeah.
Riff Raff.
They didn't like me! He never liked me!
That's Richard O'Brien. He is a pretty well-known theater actor before this. He was in Jesus Christ Superstar. That's how he met the director of this movie. He also directed Rocky Horror Show, the stage performance. I want to tell you something very fast about the stage performance. When the show was originally written, it was only 40 minutes long. Richard O'Brien realized, I got to write more for this. So he wrote another song that was not in the original script, and that was the Time Warp. So this show could have existed without the Time Warp, which would have been crazy because that is without a doubt the most popular song from this movie. What else?
Once you said Time Warp, I started humming the...
You can't help it, I know.
Yeah, it's such a good song. Next is Columbia.
That's your favorite.
You're very lucky to be invited up to Frank's laboratory. Some people would give their right arm for the privilege.
Nell Campbell, or Little Nell, as she's often called. She was cast in Rocky Horror Show, the musical, and she believes that they actually wrote Time Warp for her because she was a tap dancer. And in the original screenplay, that character did not exist anyhow. It was just Magenta. Magenta did all of the stuff that Columbia did. And then when Columbia came on board, because she's a great tap dancer, she did a lot of the tap. All right, back to it.
Okay, next character is Janet Weiss.
Weiss.
This is my fiancée, Janet Weiss.
Weiss.
Weiss?
Yeah, so that's Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon was a pretty well-established actor when this movie was made. She had done quite a few films beforehand. She got very sick while making the movie. They made the film in England. It was very rainy. They worked on this film shooting for just a mere 5 weeks. And there's difference of opinion of when she got sick. There's some people say she got sick during the rainy scene in the beginning of Over at Frankenstein Place. Other people say she got sick at the floor show, but she was definitely sick at the floor show when they did the pool stuff. And she had pneumonia, and she was very, very sick. And Richard O'Brien, Susan Sarandon, many people have said that she was shaking at times because she was so sick. But she pushed through, man. She's a pro. If we ever go and see Rocky Horror, if we ever see it in the theater and we do the audience participation, or what I should say is the audience participation. Thank you. When Janet Weiss's name is said, we will yell something out that's inappropriate.
What?
It's a word that's kind of a dumb word to use because it specifically demeans women, not particularly men. And
So I'm fine with saying it?
You can say it, but what I'm saying is it's a rude word. The word is slut. It's supposed to infer that Janet Weiss has a lot of boyfriends. And when we see her with nobody but Brad. And in the audience participation, people are already shouting it out the second you see her. However, I don't know if he's next on your list, but let's jump to him anyhow, just in case. Barry Bostwick.
Yeah, he's next.
Okay, good.
All we wanted to do was to use your telephone, God damn it, a reasonable request, which you've chosen to ignore.
Dad, don't be ungrateful.
Ungrateful?
And when we see him on stage, we shout out, asshole.
Hi, my name's Brad Majors.
I don't know why, but we do.
Maybe it's because he gets mad at her for sleeping with Rocky.
With Frank.
Rocky!
Oh, yeah, right, with Rocky.
Yeah,
You're right.
with Rocky. When he also slept with Frank.
Yeah, it is quite the conundrum there. So Barry Bostwick, also no stranger to Broadway and theater itself, he originated the role of Danny Zuko from Grease on Broadway. So what we saw John Travolta when we watched Grease for this podcast, that was Barry Bostwick originally when it was on Broadway, which is pretty cool.
Summer days drifting away to the summer nights.
Real quick, he is like in third to bottom of the list.
Okay.
The Wedding Dad, Frank Lester.
Oh, right. With the big eyebrows.
Yeah. I thought those were glasses.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
Wedding Dad.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the photographer who goes, get together, get together.
Next on the list is Eddie, played by Meatloaf.
So I met Meatloaf.
Yeah, at Hershey Park.
At Hershey Park, I did.
On a school field trip.
You know my stories. I don't have that many, so I repeat them all the time. I don't particularly love Meatloaf's politics later in life, but that said, he was super nice. And he was with his daughter. We were able to talk to his daughter. She was about our age. And she was so cool. And we said, is it this weird for you? And she said, no, it's always been this way. It was just really cool. But we were all huge Rocky Horror fans. And we told Meatloaf that. And he signed a CD. Bat Out of Hell is the name of his album that I have now.
Okay, next on the list.
Wait, I'll tell you something about Meatloaf real fast. In the stage performance, and this is typically how it is done, the actor who plays Eddie also plays Dr. Everett Scott. Because they're never seen together. And oftentimes when you're doing a show like that...
I don't want to pay that many people.
Well, it's basically what it comes down to. It's more people to manage. So a lot of times you double up characters. Like they do it in Hamilton, right? Thomas Jefferson is also Lafayette. So like you see characters...
Yeah, that made me very confused.
Well, I mean, but once one character's done, why have the person just go home or sit around and wait for a curtain call? They just play another character. When they did the film, they obviously didn't do that. And Meatloaf was really bummed because he really enjoyed playing Dr. Everett Scott. So he said that Jonathan Adams, maybe he's next on your list, he said Jonathan Adams was great, but he really wanted to play that part. So
next on the list is Dr. Everett Scott.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Jonathan Adams.
Yeah. So,
I have nothing to add.
I have something to add.
Oh, let me hear it.
It's not any fact or anything. Okay. It's just Dr. Everett V. Scott. Sorry, I missed the V the first time. Very important.
Von Scott, yeah. What are you implying?
He frustrates me.
Oh, yeah.
He is the person that I hated.
Did you?
Yes.
My views. I can't feel my views. Why? He's authority. That's what that character is supposed to be.
Yeah, but still, he's so small-minded. Like, his brain is the box. He can't think outside of it.
Listen, that's perfect. You're absolutely right. And that's what he's listed as the rival scientist. So we know Frank's a scientist. We also know that Frank ultimately is an alien. And Dr. Everett Scott is hunting aliens, basically. But you're supposed to not like him. He's the authority figure, right?
He is so stressing. People are starting to stress me out.
Yeah?
Especially in movies. Like, bro, like, in a horror movie, don't open the door when it's like 2 a.m. and your phone's dead. Like, what are you doing?
That's
haunted
conflict.
House? Let's go explore it.
Yep.
Like,
let's split up.
Yeah, literally. That's the one thing in Goosebumps. I loved Goosebumps, the TV show. But that's one of the things that actually took it apart from any other horror films. They said, let's split up. No, that's how people get killed in horror movies.
Yeah, but you cover more ground that way.
Shush. Next, there's 2 people that don't really do anything. The criminologist.
Yeah, the criminologist is the narrator, so he does a lot. He explains how the time warp works.
Yeah, played by Charles Gray.
Yeah.
It's true, there were dark storm clouds, heavy, black, and pendulous, toward which they were driving.
That's like a basic name, like Charles Gray.
It's true also.
So Charles Gray filmed all of his scenes in one day. He came in, filmed everything. They offered that part originally to a guy named Vincent Price.
I know him.
How do you know?
What?
You do know him.
I do.
You know him from multiple things. You're going to know him from even more things. So the thing you're going to know him from is you keep asking about watching Edward Scissorhands, which we're going to do. He created Edward Scissorhands. Not
Tim Burton does.
Yeah, I mean the character in the movie.
Oh.
He creates him.
There was an old man from the Cape who made himself garments of crepe. When asked, will they tear, he replied, here and there, but they keep such a beautiful shape.
Do you remember we watched the movie Vincent, where the little boy's dog, I think that was Vincent, right? His dog gets hit by the car and he brings him back to life?
No, that's Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie, is it? There's another story called Vincent, and he used Vincent Price's name. Regardless, the other thing that you would know him from is the Thriller video. Michael Jackson's Thriller, Vincent Price narrates it.
For no mere mortal can resist the evil of the Thriller.
So he's a very well-known, if you get into old horror, stuff like The Fly, and you will see a lot of stuff with Vincent Price because he was very, very involved. Richard O'Brien really wanted him as narrator. Vincent Price loved Rocky Horror when he saw it on the stage, but he couldn't make it work with his schedule, which is crazy because it was one day.
Okay.
Who else you got?
This one doesn't really matter. Betty Monroe.
Yeah.
Or Monroe.
You're right. Betty Monroe and Ralph Hapschatt.
Yeah.
They're the couple, the wedding that they're at.
Yeah.
So now anybody left in this are just secondary, third.
Except.
Who? Oh, we missed one character. A pretty important character, I guess, based on the name of the movie.
Horror.
So Rocky Horror, a creation, the monster, whatever you want to call him, played by Peter Hinwood. He retired. He was a model. He was not an actor. And he wasn't comfortable. He would say in many interviews, I'm not good. I know I'm not good. So he left acting not long after this movie. He doesn't do most of his own singing either. Like his voice changes a lot when he sings Sword of Damocles in the Floor Show. They're just different sounding. So that was not his voice singing, but he was dubbed in. I've heard so many different people were alleged to have potentially played that part. One of them was Bowie, David Bowie, which would have been crazy.
That would have been good.
And one of them was, I heard this years ago. I didn't find this when researching it now, but when I was young, I had always heard Tony Danza, which again, I don't expect you to know who that is, but Tony Danza played Alyssa Milano's father. We saw Alyssa Milano in Chicago. He played her father in Who's the Boss. I just wanted to put the Who's the Boss theme song in here.
Cool.
found a trail. At the end was you.
So, is this true?
Yeah.
It is from the website https the 2 dots / www.them.us.
That's fine. What's your factoid?
It says, is Rocky Horror LGBTQ? And it said, but even as the movie plays with the trappings of gender, it's not as queer or trans affirming as it may seem. Is that true?
Listen, being a cis male, I don't know that I can answer that. I can tell you that he is a transvestite. It's in literally the song Sweet Transvestite. They are from the planet of transsexual in Transylvania. So obviously these are all things that are explored, at least in name. When Tim Curry talks about Frank-N-Furter, and when Richard O'Brien, who created Frank-N-Furter, who wrote it, when he talks about Frank-N-Furter, they refer to Frank-N-Furter as he and him, so I will as well. But when Frank-N-Furter creates Rocky to marry Rocky, so that's 2 men, but he also has had a past relationship with Columbia, and he's had a past relationship with Eddie, and he has a future or current relationship with Janet and with Brad. So, yeah, I mean, again, I guess that's entirely up to other people to interpret. I personally think this is a very LGBTQ plus forward film. What do you think?
I think it is, although the website seems pretty legit, but I still think it's, I don't know.
Well, I mean, just because you read something on a website.
I know.
And again, it's a person's interpretation or opinion. I don't feel there's a negative to any of it. There might be more negativity to class, like the treatment. Yeah. I think Frank's treatment of Riff Raff and Magenta are terrible. Like he does not treat them well. They refer to themselves as his servants, and then spoiler alert, they ultimately, or at least Riff Raff does, kills Frank.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty deep question. That's one we could talk about forever.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a couple things about the production itself.
Okay.
The costume designer is a woman named Susan Blaine. And the reason I want to talk about her is she is often credited by both herself and others. The look of this film, the costumes, the hair, the colorful dye, the fishnet stockings, these all became very popular fashion trends within the punk rock scene. Yeah. And it is often pointed out that Susan Blaine, through this film, helped create, or at the very least, solidify that look within the punk rock world, which I thought was really cool. And then to go kind of one step further, maybe not punk rock so much as new wave or just straight rock and roll, but well, definitely not straight, but rock and roll. Makeup designer Pierre LaRoche did all of Frank's makeup, and he also created the lightning bolt that David Bowie wore as Ziggy Stardust. I never knew that. I read that today, and then I really dove deep into that because I was like, is that true? And it is true.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Ziggy played guitar.
When we were watching the movie, I had mentioned that Rocky has a weird belly button. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So the makeup department actually created a plug that fit into Peter Hinwood's belly button to hide it, so you couldn't see his belly button. And I thought that was weird. And for a minute, I thought, oh, I wonder if that's because there was a show on in the 60s called I Dream of Jeannie. And Barbara Eden played Jeannie. She was a genie in a lamp. And they were not allowed to show her belly button because it was the 60s. Things were wildly different. Unfortunately, maybe going back that way, but things were different the way that you could show different things on a person, especially a female body. So I thought, well, maybe that was still a thing. You know, forgetting the fact that during the floor show, Little Nell's bralette comes down and you see full on her boobs. And I was like, that seems weird. The reason they did that was because Frank-N-Furter created Rocky out of nothing. And because of that, he would not have had an umbilical cord, because an umbilical cord from your belly button is what a fetus is attached to the mother until it's born. It felt very deep that the makeup department was like, we need to do this. There are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie.
Okay.
Do you know what Easter eggs are?
Yeah, like in Moana, you can see one of the I don't know what.
Oh, the abominable snowman
Yeah.
from Frozen?
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, those are like your typical Easter eggs in films. These are real Easter eggs. There are Easter eggs hidden because the crew had an Easter egg hunt and could not find all the Easter eggs, so some of them end up on camera. One of them was deliberately moved under Frank's throne. Some people attribute the term Easter eggs hidden in films to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So this thing's got legs, man. Legs and fishnets.
All right.
There's a heavy audience participation element to Rocky Horror when you go see it. When I was in high school, I had graduated high school, had not started going to college yet. And a lot of my friends were doing stuff, working, traveling, whatever. And I worked too, but I found a movie theater in the Exton area, and I was working at the Exton Mall at the time, and they would do Rocky Horror on Friday nights.
All right.
I used to go every Friday night by myself.
Really?
Yep. I think it started at 10 o'clock. It was not a midnight screening, but it was late. And I probably went like 5 or 6 times by myself before I went up and talked to the people who ran it. And they asked me, would I want to join the cast as Brad? Because I used to wear big glasses. And I was like, yeah, I would love to do that. So we talked for a little bit, and then I never went back.
Okay.
Because I got scared, and I was like, I mean, nowadays I would do it in a heartbeat, but I got too nervous, and I did. I never went back to the theater.
Okay.
Tim Curry went and saw an audience participation version of it in 2000. Well, he told this story in 2005 that he was in New York and he had called. I don't know if it was still at the Waverly at that point, but he had called to have them hold tickets for him, under Tim Curry. And they said, we've already had 3 Tim Currys call for tickets, and they hung up on him because people, I guess, would say they were Tim Curry. So he went, and when he got there, they thought he was an impersonator. And he had to pull out his passport to show them that he was actually Tim Curry. He didn't stay very long because it was too nerve-wracking for him.
Oh.
For years and years, Tim Curry didn't like to talk about Rocky Horror because it was just the fans were so rabid. Okay, I want to talk to you about the music because I want to find out what your favorite songs are. But before we do, I wanted to point this out because I thought it was really cool. We're recording this in, we'll say March. It's really February when we record it, and then it'll come out in March. But it's the end of February 2025. As of right now, in the song Science Fiction Double Feature, the only person that is referenced in that song that is still alive is Janet Scott from the Day of the Triffids. So I thought that was cool. I believe she's in her late 80s, if I'm not mistaken. So what song was your favorite? Did you have a favorite song?
Well, there's, of course, Time Warp.
Time Warp, yeah. I almost think we have to take that one out of the list because it's so iconic.
Okay. Then I'd say, wait, what's it called? Like,
Science Fiction Double Feature?
Maybe?
The first song with the lips?
No.
No.
It's like Transsection.
Oh, yeah, Sweet Transvestite.
Yeah.
God, that's a good song. It's a good song. It's funny when you have different Franks that play that part. If you see different versions, you see this live, different people do it wildly differently. And this version, the movie version specifically, is the version I am so locked into. And when people do it differently, we did it with City Theater years and years ago. Mommy and I were not on stage, but our Frankenfurter was a fella named Stephen Heath, and he was awesome. But the first time I heard him do Sweet Transvestite, I was like, well, that's not the right song. And it grew on me so fast, and so did Stephen. He's amazing. So that's a great song, dude. I have a hard time. I don't know what my favorite is. There are 2 songs that are cut out of the film. The one is called Once in a While that Brad sings, and it's heartbreaking. It was completely cut from the film. It's on the CD soundtrack, but it's not in the movie. And it's basically like Brad realizing his own shortcomings of who he is, and it's a really interesting song, and it comes very early in the movie. It comes before Dr. Scott shows up, so it's before the movie turns really, really dark, and we see that Eddie is
dead.
Well, not just dead; they're eating them for dinner. So
I forgot about that.
And then the other song that's not in the US version, but it is in the UK version, it's on the DVD, but we ended up watching a streamed version of the movie, so it wasn't in it, which is called Superheroes. And that's what Mommy and I were talking about, that it's like one of the best songs. Again, very sad, very slow. It's Brad, Janet, the criminologist, and then the chorus is involved in that song. So last month, I talked about the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Schneider. And I told you I'm going to keep this list through the rest of this, and we'll talk about, is this movie on it? Kit, do you think Rocky Horror Picture Show is on the list of 1001 movies you must see before you die?
I hope it is.
It is. It is, yeah. So there you have it.
Oh, I gotta say where I put this movie on our movie.
Yeah, let's hear it. This is the oldest movie we have watched to date now. Before that, Carrie last month was 1976. We have done Grease, which was 1978. This is 1975. It is the oldest film. This is the 15th movie we have watched. Where do you rank it?
I'm gonna change the rankings a little.
I love when you do this. I do this too, so I get it. As your tastes change, this happens.
Okay. My previous number 2 is Splash.
Yeah.
My previous number 1 is Footloose.
Right.
I'm putting Splash in number 1.
Wow, okay.
And Rocky Horror is in number 2.
Wow, I love it. That makes me so happy.
Such a good movie.
It is such a good movie.
So then Footloose is in 3, and it just all moves down 1.
Okay.
So number 1, Splash. Number 2, Rocky Horror. Number 3, Footloose. Number 4, E.T. Number 5, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Number 6, Carrie. Number 7, Ghostbusters. Number 8, Grease. Number 9, Summer Rental. 10, Nightmare on Elm Street. 11, A Christmas Story. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is 12. 13 is Popeye. 14 is Back to the Future. And 15 is Goonies.
There you go. Overall, this movie has an 80% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That is the critic rating. The fan rating is 85%. I'm surprised not higher, to be honest, with the fan rating. But on IMDb, it's the exact same number as Carrie, which is 7.4 out of 10. And I thought this would be fun. Since you are 11 years old, and I am clearly a bad parent, Common Sense Media, which is run by Parent Group, I'm a parent, I'm in groups, they didn't ask me, says that this movie is appropriate for 15 and up. So don't watch this, kitten.
Oh, search up Squid Game. Search up Squid Game.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I'll look right into that.
You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, The Perfect 10 Podcast. That's 1010, The Perfect 10 Podcast. If you want to write to us, you can write to us at Perfect10 The Podcast. That's Perfect10, T-E-N, The Podcast at gmail.com.
I think I should be able to watch Squid Games.
Oh, I like this. Okay.
Because my cousin, I'm not going to say their name just in case they don't want it.
Yeah, sure.
They have just started watching Stranger Things, and they have already watched Squid Games, both seasons. Yes, I am younger than them, but last year they were afraid of Stranger Things.
I get it.
So I'm just saying.
All right, you're wearing dice earrings.
Yes.
Pick a number between 1 and 6.
3.
Okay, that's a good number. That's what I was thinking of too. If we get 3 emails saying, no, kids should watch Squid Games, you can watch Squid Games.
Okay. Please.
All right, Kit. Watch, read, play, listen. What are we doing?
For watching.
Yeah.
We are watching a new show. It has 2 authors. Katsume, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And
is that correct? I think so. Okay. Katsume.
I know Hannah is the name of the one.
Yes, and Kotaro.
Kotaro, yeah.
It is a boy and girl author.
It is so
they
cute.
are living their best life.
Oh, and I'm living my best life watching it.
Yeah. If you like others, you will scream. Because I did.
Yeah.
If you like hearing them talk.
Oh my God, the microphones.
Yes.
Yeah, with the reverb
Choose
and
the
stuff.
microphone video.
It's a good one. Yeah, they put new videos up every couple of days, so
yes.
Highly recommend.
Playing. Oh, there is a game. It's a game in Squid Games.
Okay. Why do you take your earrings off? Are you about to fight me?
No.
My God.
Squid Games is a show that features, I'm not sure what culture it is, but it's childhood games from a culture.
Okay.
I don't want to guess and be wrong.
Yeah.
And one of the games is called Gongi, if I'm saying that right. So, you take as many dice as you want. I am not that good, so I'm only using 2 dice. These are my earrings.
Okay.
Okay.
You can just do it on the table because nobody's going to know. This is an audio podcast.
With Gongi,
Yeah.
you have 1 dice on the table or the ground. Typically it's the ground, but I am sitting in a chair, so it's the table. And you have the other one in your hair, in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah. You take the dice, throw it up, and it's hard, but you have to
Try and catch it.
try to catch both of them now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's hard. That was my first time.
And how does Squid Games work? If you don't catch it, you get killed?
Okay. So Gongi, this is in, I forget what it is. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it yet.
Gotta send those emails.
Yeah, please. It's hard for some people, but once you get the hang of it, like, you can do it over and over.
Okay.
You have to do it, like, a few times. I'm not sure how many times. But it's really fun.
Okay.
And I actually have considered at recess taking my earrings out and playing it. Oh, wait, that was really bad.
It's on the floor. Dog's gonna eat it. All right, how about listen? We can put a pin in this until next week because Lizzo has a new album coming out.
Ooh. Oh, me and my cousin, I'm not going to state her name, but I feel like she would kind of want to say this. We made a Spotify playlist together.
Oh, my.
It's barely a playlist. Like, my Spotify playlist is over 585 hours.
What's the name of this new playlist?
It's called Skibbity, 2 exclamation marks. And it has a picture of her friend's doll.
Give me some songs on this playlist.
Okay.
What do we got?
She told me to put 5 songs that I like to see if I have good taste. This is a locked playlist, so.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just curious about some of the...
Yeah. Number 1 song, my favorite song, I Bet I'm Losing Dogs by Mitski.
Yep.
I love that song so much. And now, number 2, I also love this song, Stressed Out by 21 Pilots. I almost said 24 Pilots.
Oh, they are stressed out. They picked up
3 too
more
many
pilots.
pilots.
Yeah, I'd be stressed.
Yeah, I would. It's an amazing song. Number 3, Washing Machine Heart by Mitski.
Oh, I see a theme.
Yeah, I just love Mitski. And this song is amazing. And then number 4, this isn't how I rank them. This is just how I put them on there. Number 4 is Set Fire to the Rain by Adele.
It's a good one.
Okay, yeah. And then number 5 is Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey.
It's a good one, too. Nice. So is it just you pick 5 songs and those 5 songs tell if you're cool or not?
Yeah.
Can I pick 5 songs? Just throw 5 songs at you? Mine are good. In fact,
Let me text them to her.
oh, is that what we're doing?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, my first one is In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel. That's a mommy song, too. I know mommy loves that song.
All right.
I'll tell you, I love this song right now. I've used it in kit shows. Pink Pony Club. I love it. Chapel Roan. It is such a good tune, man. Here's another one called Police on My Back by The Clash.
Wasn't this song in The Rookie?
No. Oh my God. I like The Rookie a lot, but it has not had any Clash tunes in it that I'm aware of. It'd be badass if it did.
Okay.
I like this one. I love all their stuff. We're going to see them, obviously, but this one's very appropriate for now and potentially the next 4 years. A song by a band called OK Go called This Too Shall Pass.
I love that song.
It's an awesome one. And then let's kick it before we end it here with a Beastie Boys tune, So What You Want. Add me to that list, and we'll ask my niece, I think I know who this is, if I'm cool.
Thanks for listening to The Perfect 10.